Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am here again today with more Am I the Villain posts. Woo. Am I the villain for telling my bio sister I'm sorry she wasn't adopted, but that doesn't have anything to do with me and I owe her nothing? I was placed in the foster system by my bio parents when I was 2 years old. I was adopted sometime later by my real parents. I recognize that I'm extremely fortunate and lucky to have been adopted before I had any real memory of the system, and that my parents gave me a better life than I would have ever had if I stayed with my bio parents. I grew up privileged. I went to private schools, had holidays abroad, and had my tuition paid fully when I started uni. I was loved and never lacked anything. I currently have a well-paying job as a chemical engineer, a beautiful wife, a house paid off fully by my in-laws, and 2 children. I'm very grateful for everything I have and recognize that I would be leading a very different life had I not been adopted. Last year, I was contacted by Opal, who claimed I was her brother and wanted to meet up. After careful consideration, I agreed. After doing a DNA test together and digging a bit into family history, Opal and I discovered that we were placed into foster care around the same time. Usually, foster care will try to keep siblings together, but for some reason we were not registered as siblings and were placed into different foster homes, probably due to having a different dad/surname and being given up by different people. Opal got very upset by this discovery, even more so after she found out that while she was never adopted, I had lived a good life with loving parents. After the discovery, Opal started calling and asking to hang out with my parents and I, or asking me to do certain favors for her. I got uncomfortable really quickly since, to be frank, I don't know her that well. In all aspects except genetically, she is a total stranger to me. I don't feel comfortable lending her money or introducing her to my entire family. She even made a couple of comments that made me uneasy when she asked me if I thought my parents would have adopted her also had they known she existed when I was adopted, and if they think they would accept her into the family now. Last night she called me again, this time to complain how she saw that the women in my family had a get-together over the weekend and how she felt excluded since she didn't get an invite. I told her that I get she's upset, but that was a family get-together for all the women and she's not family to them, so she's not entitled to an invitation. Opal began screaming at me how it was unfair and how since I'm considered family, she should be considered too by extension, and that I owe it to her to make sure my family invites her to the next time, since it's the least I could do for her as someone who got adopted. I told her I'm sorry she feels excluded and that she wasn't adopted, but neither my family nor I owe her anything before hanging up the phone. Since then, I've been receiving non-stop texts calling me the villain and an evil jerk, and I'm starting to second-guess myself and need an outside perspective on the situation. I don't think you're the villain at all. It's not your fault any of this played out the way it did, OP. I'm really glad OP got a life, a really good life, and I feel for the sister. I'm sorry she never got adopted, but what can be done now? I know Opal thinks, oh, what can be done now is that you go back and write all of these things that I feel I've been wronged by, but that's completely out of OP's hands, and it's not up to OP to make it up to Opal. Am I the villain for not making my son give away his second prize? I have 2 sons, Robbie and Cameron. Robbie had an awards banquet for his team. The entire family went. Every year they have a raffle with a bunch of different prizes. I bought both of my sons a roll of tickets each and told them to put in for whatever. Cameron had 2 things he really wanted, a Lego kit and a remote control car. He basically put all his tickets in for those. There was another boy there, probably a little younger than Cameron, who was running around and saying that he was going to win the remote control car. Everyone would just smile and say, "We'll see." Come time for the raffle, Cameron won the Lego kit. A few draws later, and he also wins the remote control car. When the other little boy's parents explained to their son he didn't win, he broke down in a huge tantrum where he was screaming and crying. His dad had to carry him out because he was causing a bit of a disturbance. We were sitting with 2 other families at our table, and one told Cameron he should give the car to the little boy. Why? Cameron said no. They looked at me for backup, and I said it's his choice. I changed the subject. The little boy did return. He came by our table a couple of times but didn't say anything. He just stared at the car, which I felt was fine. Later, a friend of mine said a few others felt Cameron should have given the little boy the car as he already won something. I said this is just how raffles work, and it's a good lesson for kids. There are times my sons haven't won things from raffles or similar events. They learned young it's all up to luck. Keep in mind, I never heard from the parents of this child. I know the mom in passing, as our older sons have hung out a couple of times, but not that well. My husband wonders if I should have just encouraged Cameron to give it away. Am I the villain for saying no? No! Why? OP's right, that is how raffles work. Like, if the kid is so upset, he needs to learn that he can't always get what he wants. I don't know. I feel like I'd be angry if somebody was like, oh, you should give your toy away that you won fair and square because this little boy's upset. Like, no. No. Not the villain. Thank you for standing up for your kid and not making them give away the second toy that they won all on their own. Am I the villain for not giving my pregnant friend a car seat? I have a 1-year-old daughter. She is still using her infant car seat. However, we were hit about a month ago, and while we weren't hurt, I no longer feel like her car seat was safe, so I replaced it. My pregnant friend Anne asked if she could have the car seat since I was just throwing it out anyway. I explained that car seats are made to withstand one accident, and I didn't think it was safe for my daughter or hers. She is a known dumpster diver, so I wrote on the car seat in permanent marker that it was in a car accident, and I took out the straps when I threw it away so it wasn't usable, and kept them to throw away later. Anne went through my trash and called me selfish for wasting a perfectly good car seat and said I haven't been helpful to her at all. I organized her baby shower, gave her lots of my daughter's old clothes except for sentimental outfits because she asked, commissioned baby blankets and 2 outfits from a friend of mine whose work she likes. Helped her around the house, etc. I've tried my best. I don't feel like not wanting to risk her daughter dying makes me the villain, but does it? No! What? No! That's stupid. Well, she's gonna... This makes me uncomfortable that she's so willing to dumpster dive for a car seat when clearly you're not supposed to drive with a car seat after it's already been in an accident because it's a one-time thing, like a helmet. This is just dangerous. Definitely not the villain. Am I the villain for skipping my best friend's surprise wedding? My best friend Emma and I have known each other since high school. We've been through everything together from breakups to job losses. So when she told me she was planning a special event and needed me there, I didn't hesitate to say yes, despite not knowing the details. Emma has always been unconventional and loves surprises. She hinted that this event was going to be life-changing and a testament to love. Given her flair for the dramatic, I assumed it might just be an elaborate proposal from her long-term partner, Jake. The event was scheduled at a remote, picturesque location about 4 hours from where I live. The week of the event, my life turned upside down. My dog, who's been my companion for over 10 years, fell critically ill. It was touch and go, and leaving him wasn't an option for me. I was devastated, torn between my responsibility to my pet and my commitment to my best friend. I called Emma 2 days before the event, explaining my situation and how I couldn't make it. She was incredibly understanding at the time, or so it seemed. I thought everything was fine until the next day when mutual friends started posting pictures of the event. It was Emma's wedding. A surprise wedding. I was shocked and heartbroken. I would have loved to witness one of the most important days of her life, but the situation with my dog was something I couldn't ignore. Emma, however, didn't see it that way. After the wedding, she sent me a long message expressing her disappointment and hurt. She felt that I had chosen my pet over our friendship and that missing her wedding was unforgivable. Since then, Emma has been distant. Mutual friends are divided. Some understand my predicament while others believe I should have made every effort to attend, regardless of the circumstances. I'm left wondering, am I the villain for choosing to stay with my critically ill pet over attending my best friend's surprise wedding? No. No. Okay, there's 2 things at play here. Let's say your pet wasn't critically ill, right? But something else came up that was less important. I feel like a critically ill pet is a good reason to even miss the wedding had OP known it was a wedding. But let's say it was something that was like a work thing came up and she couldn't leave. She also wouldn't be the villain because she didn't know it was a wedding. How can it be an unforgivable thing to miss a wedding when you don't know it's a wedding? It was a surprise wedding. She didn't know what the event was. Therefore, she shouldn't be held accountable for missing a wedding when she didn't know that it wasn't a wedding. Second thing, I don't like this whole you prioritize your pet over me, because the critically ill pet, that's not prioritizing, oh, my dog over my friends. That is, I'm prioritizing what I need to be doing. It's my responsibility to take care of my dog. I love my dog. I'm going to be here to take care of my dog and make sure my dog's okay. That's not the same. So even if OP did know it was a wedding and her dog still felt critically ill, this is a circumstance that I think would validate OP missing the wedding. Her pet was dying, man. And I don't like how insensitive the friend is when it comes to the pet. Like, not even asking if the pet's okay or anything. Just, I'm disappointed in you. This is unforgivable. You prioritized your critically ill pet over an event you didn't even know what it was. Yep, that was a sentence. Am I the villain for not wanting to share my bedroom with my cousin? I am a college student. I live with my parents still, but I am preparing to move out to some student housing starting in the 2nd year. So I have this cousin who's been living with us ever since last year. She claims to be a lesbian, and she ran away from her parents because they just didn't like the fact that she was a lesbian. She's too young to know if she's a lesbian, but besides that, she's a good kid, and she really loves soccer, and she's really bright in school, so I feel like she has a good future ahead of her. You already sound like the villain because you said she's too young to know if she's a lesbian. I knew when I was 12 who I liked. My cousin used to sleep in a room in the basement, but earlier this month she's gotten scared of the basement because she had a nightmare down there. So nowadays she sleeps on the floor on a spare mattress in my bedroom. She does this because she told my parents that she doesn't want to be alone and that she wants to bunk with me, even though I didn't ask for it. Our relationship used to be good and all, but having to share my room with her has been annoying. I don't know when she'll move out of my room or if she'll ever get comfortable in the basement. I keep telling myself that I'll be moving out of the house this summer anyway, but the summer can't come fast enough. A few nights ago, I got into a small argument with my cousin where I really laid into her and let her know that we're letting her stay at our house because we're good people and we're doing extra for her, but we could just choose not to go above and beyond for her anymore and send her back to her own parents' house. Her eyes got wide as I told her this, and she couldn't sleep during the night after our argument. Am I the villain for not wanting my cousin in my room? Okay, are you the villain for not wanting the cousin in your room? No. That's okay. Especially because this is a 12-year-old and OP's 18. I feel like 18-year-olds want privacy in their own room, especially from a 12-year-old. So OP is not wrong for not enjoying having his cousin sleep in the room. But, this is where OP is the villain. First of all, the whole she's too young to know she's a lesbian, that's just BS, right? But to tell her that we could just easily send you back to the family that doesn't want you around because of your sexual orientation, that is just too far, buddy. Like, you are the villain because of those two reasons. And you're right, summer just can't come fast enough because clearly she shouldn't be around you either because you are not understanding and you're just cruel, buddy. Like, ugh. I'm gonna go with yes, you're the villain. Alrighty, well, that is all for today. If you like the content or you like me, go ahead and like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!